What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. I am the coach. Once again, we're on the road for 2 full weeks here in the state of Florida. Sometimes the tech gets to us, but we got on the air nevertheless. We're on the eve of the Players' Championship. I'll be calling that tomorrow live on PGA Tour Live. But before we look forward, as always, we must look back at our day from Tuesday. Zach Attack again doing his work. Delaware, Wright State, both down at halftime. They had big second halves to cash those 2 tickets. Allie cashed an under yesterday, which I tailed. I was happy about that. The Maestro, he had all kinds of wiggle room with the 6-point win for Clemson yesterday. And then the Suns last night couldn't get it done in Orlando. We may stay clear of the Suns for a little while until they get Chris Paul and Devin Booker back. Then the AB3 hit, so a really good day at the brand. So let's bring in the stars of the show. We're going, you best believe, 5 wide today. And if you look at my lifelines on my hands, they got a lot longer after yesterday's soccer that we cashed 2 or 3 things in the 91st and 2nd minute. So I've got to introduce my man, Buckets, first. You're going to kill me, Buckets. You're going to kill me.
Coach, that is not my intention. That is not my goal, but that seems to be how every game for me is going lately. We cash in the first 5 minutes or we cash in the last 30 seconds. No middle ground on most of these.
All right, well, we've got some bigger issues with you here in a second that I'll get to, that the entire chat, I'm sure, is talking about. Twitter is all a buzz about. I'll get back to you. But your mentor, we call him the Guru, live from just south of London, England, Mr. Martin W. Green. Hello, sir.
Well, hello, Coach. That was a British accent. Thank you very much. That makes you very welcome today. I'm delighted to be on with you fine gentlemen again, breaking down the second leg of some Champions League round of 16 games. Second leg is always a bit difficult because a lot of teams are already leading on aggregate and you don't know what sort of motivation they're going to have, but hopefully we've got some interesting bets for you guys today, not just in the Champions League, but also in some very niche lower league English games. So lots to look forward to, hopefully.
And that's Bucket's specialty, is the smaller niche. He played an Australian game last night, Martin, at 1 a.m. in the morning. So the fact I got no sleep, once again, is Bucket's fault. But let me introduce first Buckets. Lindsay says leave Buckets alone. Sorry, Lindsay. My bad. I will. All right, live from Las Vegas, where I think there's 4 conference tournaments this week. Is that right, Zach?
I think there's 6. There's 6. I'd have to go over all of them. But yeah, you've got the Summit, the WCC just finished, the WAC, Big West, Pac-12, Mountain West. So there's 6 right there. And there might be another 1 or 2 that are going on. But I don't know what's a bigger sweat, a soccer casher in the 91st, 92nd minute, or Wright State down 16, Delaware down 1, 55-54 with like a minute left before they went on that, I think, 5-0, 6-0 spurt. So I've got to play one of those soccer bets to see which one's more of a sweat. But I'm amped up today, Coach. More conference tournament action. I feel like Peter Kiss. I had to do some push-ups before the show today.
Oh, Peter Kiss made an appearance on the show today. By the way, I have so much faith in you, Zach, that I played the second half of both of those games yesterday. Both of them. So I cashed double.
I was in on Delaware Live. It just seemed like they were going to finally have a flurry. And UNC Wilmington, they've been doing that all season long, where they just have these droughts in the second half. And they've been getting away with it, but not this time.
Not this time. And speaking of razor-thin edges, Maestro, Clemson, I'm sitting on an airplane in real time. So they didn't have the TVs because it was down. So I did have the Wi-Fi. And there was like Maestro nails and Maestro no. And I'm like, oh, they must have won by like 20. They won by half a point.
Yeah, they should have won by 20. They missed literally 15 layups. But, you know, in my write-up, I said NC State looks ready for the season to end. I didn't know that was literal. I didn't know the coach with 20 seconds to go, Kevin Keats, down 6, 20 seconds to go. They say, you know what? We're done. Let's get out of here. And that was it. So I'll take it.
It's so crazy. Then you had other teams fouling down 17 with 30 seconds to go. But 6, we can't do that. All right, let's get into storylines that could affect the betting lines today. So here's the deal for those of you at home that don't know what happened yesterday. So our man Buckets, who we love so much, Bayern Munich, how many did they score in the first half, Buckets? 4?
They scored 4. Yes, coach.
They scored 4. They scored 4 in the first half. So he decides he's going to wear a scarf today. But he decided to be a little bit cocky on social media yesterday. He's like, wow, what an amazing start. 4 goals in 31 minutes. If they get to 6 or above, I'm going to get a Bayern Munich tattoo. And guess what? They got to 7. They didn't get to 6. They got to 7. So, Buckets, explain how your little get attention scheme on Twitter backfired. And you're going to have to get a Bayern tattoo. And I contacted Mama Buckets. And I told her that I wanted her to pick where on your body you got it. You know what she said to me? No problem, coach. No problem. Your reaction to Mama Buckets and your tattoo, Mr. Buckets.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, there's not much more you can do than just give a heavy sigh. It's been a team that, obviously at the top of Bundesliga, it's the best team in Germany, and they've done nothing but struggle for the past month. They drew against Salzburg the last time they played 1-1. My expectations were they were going to do decent. They were going to win. They were going to get a couple goals, but a Lewandowski hat trick in 11 minutes is not something I think anyone expected. You figured they slow down eventually, and they just didn't. They said, never mind. We saw Bucket's tweet, and we're just going to keep on scoring until the 89th minute. So I got to contact an artist. I got to get some logistics done on my end, but I'm a man of my word, and we will eventually see that Bayern Munich tattoo.
Sorry, I'm just drinking it all in right now. I'm just drinking it all. All the BS is coming out of your mouth right now. Just drinking it all in. All right.
What a game.
Well, let's hear something from the chat. Over under on tattoos and from everyone. Over under.
I've got 1.
Zero.
Zero. I bet Martin has like 8. They're all covered up. And the Maestro screams tattoo. Maestro just screams tattoo.
Got a henna once.
All right. We're going to leave Buckets alone for now. For some reason, all the ladies in the chat always hate it when I get down on Buckets. I don't know what it is, but all the ladies that watch the show love Mr. Buckets. All right. Now, there's another team that plays today in Champions League action that historically, Guru, is a really, really good team, but they've been struggling as of late. Can today be that let's turn the corner back to being a dominant team?
Potentially they can, coach. Yeah, that team would be Real Madrid. They are the most successful team in this competition's history, won it a bunch of times. They're 1-0 down, though, on aggregate in their Champions League round of 16 clash with Paris Saint-Germain. They were actually fortunate to only lose by a single goal in that first leg. On February 15th, PSG was totally dominant in that game, and Kylian Mbappe finally scored a late goal. However, since then, Real Madrid have gone on a 3-game winning streak in La Liga. Star striker Karim Benzema has shaken off an injury. He cannot stop scoring right now. And meanwhile, PSG, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games in Ligue 1, including an underwhelming 1-0 defeat to Nice at the weekend. They do tend to save their best performances for the Champions League, though, but they'll face a stern challenge from Los Blancos in the Spanish capital today. The big question everyone's asking, this is the biggest game of the day by far, can Real Madrid turn things around in the second leg? Or will PSG be too dangerous on the counter-attack? There's all sorts of storylines because Real Madrid are trying to sign Kylian Mbappe in the summer. And it's the first time that Lionel Messi, the former Barcelona captain, is going to go back and play his arch rivals on Spanish soil. He missed the penalty in the first leg, so he'll be desperate to make amends this time around. It's just going to be a collection of superstars on one pitch, battling it out. It's going to be a thrilling spectacle, and it really could go either way. But I've come up with a couple of plays on it, which I hope are going to pan out.
All right. I have no doubt that they would, but I'm guessing that if Real Madrid scores 6 or more goals, you will not be getting a tattoo. Okay, moving on.
I'll get a tattoo. If Real Madrid scores 6 or more goals in this game, I'll get a tattoo in wherever Mama Buckets wants me to get it.
Oh, wait, say that one more time.
Wherever Mama Buckets wants me to get it, I'll get
See, Buckets, that's next level right there. That's understanding the entertainment value. Wow. So now Mama Buckets potentially could, I'm going to have to get on this somehow, tell her son where to get a tattoo and the guru where to get a tattoo. Oh, my God. Please let there be 6 or more goals today. All right. I've got to put that down because I'm so damn excited right now. And there's one conference tournament as we shift our focus back to college basketball that is doing their format in kind of a different way. Zach Attack, you're up.
Yeah, yesterday that Nugget on the Big West doing their first games in Henderson, Nevada at the Dollar Loan Center. Both of those games went way under the total. I should have bet both of those. But Conference USA, they have an interesting format as well. They're the only conference that plays in kind of an open gym format. You know, I've only seen this in the Summer League here in Las Vegas, but 2 games are going on at once. How do they do that? They play at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. Obviously, we've seen that on the HBO show. It's a huge facility. They can divide that up into 2 basketball courts. All they have is a curtain in between the games. So there's going to be a game that starts today. Yesterday there was 2 that were half an hour behind each other. Today you've got at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Marshall, Louisiana Tech. 8 o'clock, UTEP is playing Old Dominion, and 8:30, Southern Miss and Florida Atlantic. So 3 games today. They're going to overlap the action by an hour, half an hour. So at the end of the first game, the other one will be starting, and then by halftime, the third game will be starting. So that's an interesting thing. And then there's also a big issue with 3 teams that have decided to leave Conference USA. This is going to be the last tournament for Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss. The conference didn't want them to leave to go to the Sun Belt next year, so those 3 teams sued. This happened less than 2 weeks ago.
Wow. It seems like it's going to have kind of like a bubble feel to it, like what the NBA did, where they had multiple games going on down in Orlando at the same time. I love when Ricky says, laugh it. See, Buckets? See what you do? You bring the comedy to the show. You and the guru. He says, best way to start a day. Love this show. And guess what, Ricky? We love the fact that you watch. Thank you very much. Now, Maestro, you know I'm down here to do the Players Championship. We may or may not have a pick from the players coming up in just a minute, but golf is usually the only place that I can see 200 to 1 and have a legit chance to cash a ticket. But you have found a basketball team at those odds that potentially could be live. What are we talking about?
Potentially, and I'm talking about none other than Nebraska, which was 6-49 in Big Ten play under Fred Hoiberg when they decided, you know what, let's give this guy a vote of confidence and keep him for another year. He took a pay cut. They lost to Iowa by 10. They were then 6-50, and then all of a sudden, destroy Penn State, beat Ohio State, beat Wisconsin. This team has a lot of talent. I'm not saying they're going to win the tournament at 200 to 1, but they could beat Northwestern. They could beat Iowa and Rutgers, who are the next up. Alonzo Verge, the transfer point guard from Arizona State, has been a different player down the stretch, shooting over 50%, over 40% from 3, not turning the ball over. Bryce McGowan's a newcomer of the year, 21 points over his last 5 games per game. So this team is dangerous. They're playing with house money. And who would have thought it? A team that was 6-50 to unbelievably run off those 3 big-time wins, and now, you know, beating Northwestern, Iowa, and Rutgers is not unthinkable.
That's not unthinkable. Wow, I can't believe that. And they can score a lot of points. They've been catching overs too, so they can put the ball in the bucket. Did I just say bucket? All right. Now let's get into our board for the day, because we've had a lot of different sports at a lot of different times. 2 plays from the almighty SportsLine. If you're not a SportsLine member yet, what in the world are you doing? Use the promo code EARLY, and I'm going to give you 3 months for free. You'll have access to all my cappers, like the 4 you see on the screen today, and so much more. Analysis, simulations, the algorithms, you get it all. So come be a part of what we're building. Now, 2 plays. We're going to go Wizards, Clippers over. Now, this is a late start tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Clippers just got blown out last night by the Warriors. SportsLine, the model, had the Warriors covering the 6. They did just that, winning by 15. But we're going to attack the over in this one as they welcome the Wizards. 5 of the last 6 games, the Wizards have cashed the over. The Clippers are only 54% against the spread this year, meaning they have a lot of close games. They're underdogs, they're favorites. It doesn't matter. Tonight, we're going with the over 218.5. Then our other play from the Players Championship, Victor Hovland, top 5 finish at plus 450. That play is from M Squared. By the way, coming up top of the hour, 11 a.m. Eastern time, a very special Players Championship episode of The Early Edge. And already over in the First Cut YouTube feed, we got 2 shows there. So we have you covered top to bottom. Me, Rick, and M Squared coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, back to the pitch. Because for some reason, when my 2 soccer guys are on, our ratings just skyrocket. So, Buckets, you understand how much I covet the first spot on the show.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
Getting ready. Getting my stretches done, getting all the knuckle,
We don't do knuckles. We don't do knuckles. All right. So, Buckets, you're up first after a day. And let us remind the good people at home, were you 6-0 or 7-0 yesterday?
I was 6-0, not counting the tattoo play. But we'll say 6-0. We'll be humble about this.
We'll say 6-0. And then you hit the Australia game late. So that was 7-0.
Yep.
So right now you're on a 7-game winning streak, technically. Maybe longer than that, but we'll say 7. So that's how hot you are. So I'm going to lay back. I'm going to give you the first spot on the show. Sir, the floor is yours.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Before I get into my 2 official picks, I just want to say I put a sprinkle on Real Madrid over 5.5 goals at plus 4,500. Martin, we're going to make this happen. We'll get these tattoos together here. So not an official play, but worth a sprinkle in my opinion. As for my 2 picks that I really, really do like here today, first we're going to the Europa League. We're going Porto versus Olympique Lyon. We are going our favorite bet that we've been cashing tickets all year long, and I feel like we're going to cash them again here today. We're going both teams to score. We've got 2 of the best scoring teams in all of Europa League. Porto has scored in 33 of their last 34 competitions, and Lyon has scored in 23 of their last 24 Europa League matches. These are 2 teams that want to win, want to be here, and are proving that they're supposed to be here. So we're jumping on both teams to score for that first game. On our second game, we are going to the Scottish Premiership. We're going St. Mirren versus Dundee, and you need to be careful. There are 2 teams in Scotland called Dundee. There's a Dundee and a Dundee United. So this is just regular Dundee. Again, we're going both teams to score. It is 2 of the worst defensive teams in all of Scotland. They do nothing but concede goals and lose again and again and again. So we're expecting both teams to take their chances, get some goals here, and cash another BTTS ticket.
This is a true story. The other day, I bet the wrong Dundee, and Buckets is so good, both games cashed, and I bet the wrong Dundee, and I still won. Damn, it's unbelievable. All right, Buckets, thank you very much. Now, Speaking of Real Madrid, you don't have to say thank you. You can just sit there. You can just sit there. Are you good? Okay. All right. Now, Martin. I love you, Buckets. All right. Now, speaking of Real Madrid, we are either going to have a bunch of X's on the show tomorrow or a bunch of check marks because I love the picks you have today. Talk to me.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, well, this was a relatively difficult game to handicap because PSG do have the 1-0 aggregate lead after the first leg. But I'm siding with Real Madrid here. They're unbeaten in 14 home games in La Liga so far this season, with 10 wins and 4 draws. A draw would suit PSG in this game as it would carry them through on aggregate. So they're likely to be more cautious, whereas Real Madrid will be the aggressor. They should be able to get at least the draw in this game, even if they are missing key midfielders Casemiro and Toni Kroos. Yet PSG will be very dangerous on the counter-attack, especially in Casemiro's absence, with the pace of Kylian Mbappe and the flair of Lionel Messi. So I think this could be a more open and entertaining game than the first leg. And I like both teams to score and over 2.5 goals as a little parlay. I'm also going for Real Madrid draw no bet at minus 110. I really think they get a result here. Big fan of Buckets bet, Lyon versus Porto, both teams to score. So I'm going to combine that actually with the other Europa League game taking place tonight, which is between Eintracht Frankfurt at Real Betis. And I've got both teams to score in both of those games for a little parlay of plus 160. And finally, I just want to draw your attention to a huge game taking place in a tournament called the EFL Trophy, which only features very small little teams in English soccer, 3rd tier and below. No championship teams, no Premier League teams. We're now in the semi-finals, and League One leaders Rotherham are taking on a Hartlepool team that sit mid-table in League Two. Essentially, what I'm saying is that Rotherham are one division above Hartlepool, and they're the best team in that division, so they should win this game. The final takes place at Wembley, which is the national stadium, so that would be a huge occasion for either club. I think they'll both take this one seriously, and I'm counting on Rotherham's superior quality ultimately shining through. So I'm giving Rotherham a -1 Asian handicap against Hartlepool at minus 105.
Well, man, I continue to be amazed at how you guys find these little leagues and these little nuggets and these little, yesterday we had 7 EFL games, whatever they were, and we targeted 1 and it cashed with Fulham scoring 4 goals. It's incredible. Incredible. Quick question. Is Mbappe away?
Yeah, we're expecting Kylian Mbappe should be playing in this game. I think he's shaken off an injury. He was suspended before, so he is expected to play. He will be very dangerous alongside Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe, probably the most formidable attacking triumvirate ever assembled. So Real Madrid will definitely have their work cut out, and I can see PSG getting on the scoreline here. I do actually have a little bet on Kylian Mbappe to score at any time as well in this game, something that I went for on my SportsLine article, because I do think he'll be really dangerous. And yeah, it's just going to be such an exciting game to watch, Coach.
Yeah, and I'm going to be watching it. The bigger the game, the bigger he plays. I love that. And if you're a SportsLine member, you're already able to get that number a long time ago. He posted it 2 days ago. Why are you not a SportsLine member yet? I can't figure it out. All right, Buckets and Guru, thank you very much. Now, let's shift our focus back to college hoops. And Zach Attack, after a 2-0 day yesterday, I had a feeling you might be a little bit tired. You say, I don't want to target a specific game, but maybe a couple of futures. What do you got?
Yeah, I should have some site plays here shortly, but I wanted to just get some futures out there. It's entertainment value with all these tournaments going on. We've got several starting today in the main conferences. It's just good to not just take the favorites atop the board. So I've got a couple of value plays. We're going to start off with USC in the Pac-12 tournament, 9-1 on Caesars. You can get them as high as 10.50 if you shop around. And this is why I like USC. A week ago, they were 25-4. They lost to both Arizona and UCLA, bad losses. And even before that, they were stumbling a little bit. Had a close win against Washington State, 2-point win, 3-point victory over one of the worst teams in college basketball in double overtime, Oregon State. And how about a 1-point win over Oregon? So they haven't been playing the best of basketball, but this is a team, if they regroup, which they should. They have a lot of seniors. Shavaz Goodwin transferred from Wofford. He's 24 years old. Drew Peterson transferred in from Rice, another senior. Boogie Ellis transferred in from Memphis, 21 years old. And, of course, they have Mobley, the big man, who's a great player and has that experience from last year's team. So I think they can get it going. We saw last year what Oregon State was able to do. USC, all they need is that first win, and they could get rolling. That's a great value play. I love them. And then Fresno State and Caesars, they are 8-1. You can get them as high as 13-1 if you shop around the Mountain West. If there's any tournament that's up for grabs, it is this one. It seems like every game that I watched this year was a nail biter back and forth. And when conference play began, maybe a week or two in, Fresno State was one of those teams. They passed the eye test. They looked like one of the top 4 teams. Obviously, they hit a main wall in conference, but here, this is their chance to regroup. If they win, they're in. And the pressure's not on them. There's 4 bubble teams right now: San Diego State, Wyoming, Boise State, Colorado State. You can even throw UNLV in there because this is being played in their home city. So 5 teams that have the pressure. The pressure's off Fresno State. And they kind of have a bye game today, Coach. They're facing San Jose State, who's another one of those atrocious teams in college basketball. And guess who they play tomorrow? I love forecasting ahead. If they win today, they play San Diego State, a team they just lost to in double overtime. So they have a chance to get 2 wins, and that's when you can hedge one of these type of odds.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about conference tournaments is they don't have to play all 4 teams. They don't have to play even, 3 teams, maybe just 1 or 2 of those really good teams to get through. I love the value plays like that. And USC, I love that. Arizona, UCLA playing really good basketball, but USC, they have the talent to beat both of those schools if they're playing, as you said, at the top of their game. Now, another team that has been very much not at the top of their game has been a team in the Big East. But Maestro, you're on them today. Talk to me.
Yeah, all the pressure. Zach was talking about pressure. All the pressure is on Xavier today. They are one of the last 4 in, according to our CBS bracketology. Actually, according to Joe Lenardi, but on CBS, they're a number 10 seed. Either way, they need to win. If they lose to Butler, they are likely not making the tournament. They already beat Butler twice, but why should they be laying 6.5 points? They're coming in on a 2-7 skid. One of those wins was against Georgetown, which didn't beat anybody in the Big East. And Butler has had a terrible season, worst season in like 30 years, but they're 2 fifth-year seniors, Bo Hodges, Bryce Enzi. Hodges missed 16 games. Enzi missed 8 games. They're back. Everyone is back. When Hodges plays at least 28 minutes, 8-3 against the spread, they're much more competitive. The first game against Xavier, they got blown out. He wasn't there. The second game at Xavier, he was there. They lost by 2. I'm taking 6.5. With a Butler team that's lost 5 straight, they'll probably lose 6 straight, but I think it'll go to the wire.
It's always amazing how college teams with just 1 or 2 players in or out, how that can severely affect how they play, and certainly if they cover the spread or not. Now, you mentioned March Madness. You mentioned the brackets, Maestro. This is a call to action right here and right now, because I know we have the very best community in all of sports betting, and we want each and every one of you to play with us, play against us. We want to have the most engagement, the most amount of players of any of the shows at CBS SportsLine, period, at CBS. So enter right now. The links have all been fixed, so everything is working, and we want you to be a part of it. I'll be in there, Maestro, M Squared, the whole team, the whole crew, be a part of this. We're all going to play against each other. The winner will have a Paramount gift card at their disposal. And who else knows what we're going to throw in? You never know. All right. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of AB on the 1s and the 2s, and it looks glorious. Zach Attack, 2 futures today. USC to win the Pac-12. Fresno State to win the Mountain West. Then buckets on 2. Soccer plays. Dundee FC. Make sure you get the right Dundee against St. Mary. Both teams to score. Then FC Porto, Olympic Lyon, both teams to score, -155. Then the Guru in the Champions League. We're going to go Real Madrid, draw no bet. Then Real Madrid, PSG, both teams to score, and over 2.5. Then in Europa League, parlay, both teams to score in both of those games. You do it together, it's +160. Love that. And then in that little league, in the EFL Cup, Rotherham, Hartpool, we're going to go Asian line, -1. So if they win by 2, we cash. They win by 1, we push. They don't win at all, then we don't. Then the Maestro's on Butler, +6.5. You heard all the numbers against Xavier. And then 2 plays from SportsLine. Wizards, Clippers over 218.5. And then Victor Hovland in the Players' Championship, the biggest purse of the entire year. Top 5 finish, +450. And then we've been cashing the AB3 like clockwork for the last couple of weeks. Bucks, Mavericks, Clippers, all on the money line. It will give us a return of +180. Don't forget, coming up in 30 minutes from right now, me, M Squared, Rick Run Good with a Players' Championship preview episode of The Early Edge. And then don't forget, tomorrow through the weekend, we'll have tons of Players' Championship, MMA, all that good stuff right here on our YouTube channel. Give us a follow and turn on those notifications. Now, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, I love them all. Buckets, Guru, Zach Attack, Maestro, and of course, AB dial up on the 1s and the 2s. This is the spot. Months like March is where it's at. We're here for you. We grind for you, but we couldn't do it without you. Tell all your friends, your daily sports betting brand of record, powered by SportsLine. There's only one. We call it The Early Edge. Good luck.